On this episode of the Bobcat Sports Showcase, we'll take a look at what our Bobcats are doing off the field, along with breaking down their practice to see how they find success. A new episode of the Bobcat Sports Showcase starts now. Welcome to another episode of the Bobcat Sports Showcase. I'm your host, Abby Carnevale, and our staff has been working hard this month to give you the insight on all of Ohio athletics. We have multiple stories analyzing the basics of the game that explain how the Bobcats find success. But before we hit the field, I want to visit another setting. Busy Bobcat athletes are visiting the new Athletes in Action house to continue their career while playing for God. Danny Dean took a trip to the house last weekend and sat down with a few of the members.
In college, it's common to see students lose focus on religion. Now, when a collegiate sport is thrown into the mix, that makes a student's life even more overwhelming. The club Athletes in Action is designated to help student athletes take time to focus on their religion. Mindy Heflin and her husband Mark have a mission as the directors of AIA.
It's a time in your life when you're figuring out not just what you want to do for a career, but you're also figuring out who you want to be and what kind of character you want to have. And it's really hard to do that when you leave out the spiritual aspect of your life. Students show up here coming from all kinds of backgrounds, and that's what we want to be here to help them develop that part of their life.
Cedric Brown plays for Ohio football, and he's also the vice president of AIA. Throughout his life, he attests that his faith in Christianity has helped him overcome many personal feats.
For me, sports has been everything. Growing up, I played 4 sports. I think me having a relationship with the Lord helped me get through those tough times when you didn't want to go to practice or you didn't want to work out as hard. I think Jesus does that and God does that because there's more to life than just sports.
Athletes in Action's presence grows each year at Ohio University. Senior softball player Amanda Dalton is the president of the club, and she recognizes how much she's benefited from AIA.
I started going to those meetings, and at the time it was only like 8 people at the meetings, and now it's 70, 60 sometimes. Athletes in Action has been really impactful in my life because it brought me to Puerto Rico. I went on the summer trips, and it led me to my career choice, kind of. I want to be on staff with AIA.
A blue house on the corner of Washington and College Street was recently transformed into the new AIA home.
In May, we purchased this house, and this is a permanent home for the Athletes in Action house. Many, many volunteers have been working for months to make this a wonderful, beautiful place. And in August, our first 9 residents moved in, and the community they built was just so amazing. And we always said to them, you know, we don't want to build a comfortable place for you. So we said this is supposed to be a place that pushes you and a place that causes you to grow.
The best word to describe the life of a college athlete is active. This club caters to student athletes by giving them the tools and knowledge to put their faith into action.
Athletes in Action has helped me to stay humble and to stay rooted and grounded because it's been a struggle just being a student athlete and having to manage your time. So I think Athletes in Action has helped me just know that I'm doing the right thing and that my purpose is being fulfilled.
It's everything, really. Athletes in Action is definitely the reason that I'm still, going strong and desiring to get to know God more.
AIA is also a safe haven for Ohio's star running back Daz Patterson, whose accomplishments as a person and in the classroom far exceed what he can do on the field. Nathan Wiseman caught up with Patterson to see how this man isn't just a great football player, but also a great person.
Yeah, I'm all about that action.
From shining under the Peden Stadium lights to serving as a light to others off the field, Daz Patterson embraces action. Taking action in the classroom has always been important to Daz. He earned a 4.87 GPA in high school and received his degree in Marketing Management Communications at Ohio University.
Ultimately, I want to go to law school and become a lawyer to be able to run my businesses, and it'll all the businesses that I start up will all go under action. Assisting communities through intercultural outreach and networks, an organization which I'm starting to make a difference in people's lives.
He's a very strong voice, opinion person, and one of our main leaders on our team. If somebody doesn't want to speak up, somebody asks a question, Daz will be the first one to answer or keep somebody in line.
Daz was inspired to start his own student organization, Action, after lending a hand in the student government campaign.
I ended up getting an opportunity to run for senator at large. So and the campaign was called Time for Action. So it was like, and it was right on time for the stage I was in my life. I really needed it at the time. And from there, unfortunately we lost, but from there, I decided that I wanted to keep the group together. I thought it was a great idea to keep a group that wanted to really make a difference on this campus together, and we could always be connected as a network.
A lot of people, maybe sometimes as student athletes, can make excuses and say they don't have a lot of time because they're busy doing sports. But then Daz, he wants to help the community, and then all these other little kids, he goes to a lot of football camps and practices.
Just tell the young action takers, the young students, what it takes to get to where we are, why it's important to take action, to be ambitious, to have an open mind and try to understand, try to learn things from life, and also to invest in the others.
Being a role model, him and just a lot of our seniors and whoever else is in that position that wants to be that, just showing kids that they can maybe do this one day, and if not, there's a lot of options like Daz is doing that can always help people.
It's no doubt that Patterson has been a stronghold for Ohio football this season, but he can also credit a lot of his success to another unit on the team. Let's go over to Carly Bell at Peden Stadium, where I heard she caught up with the key to the offense's success.
Thanks a lot, Abby. Now, we always hear about the quarterback and his stat line, but without the offensive line, he wouldn't even have one. That's why I'm joined today by Mike McQueen and Lucas Powell. They're going to give me some insight on how they're able to protect the quarterback and give him that time in the pocket. First off, start on stance. I know there's a 3-point stance and a 4-point stance. What's the difference? 2-point and 3-point?
2 and 3.
What's the difference between a 2-point and a 3-point stance?
Your hand is down.
Okay.
And 2-point, you're either mostly in the pass play, but of course your hand isn't on the ground, so 2 points.
How would you get in that specific stance? Like if I was in that stance right now, how would I want to be in there?
Well, being on the left side, you want your right foot up a little bit.
Okay.
And probably have your left foot halfway between your post foot, that's what you call it.
Okay.
Foot. And just kind of want to sit in your hips.
Okay.
And if you're in a 3-point, you would drop your hand down,
okay,
kind of equal with your left knee.
Is it always the hand that's in your back foot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same hand as the back foot.
Okay.
So if I'm on the right side of my right foot.
Okay.
Right hand on you.
Okay.
And after that, you just kind of want to get tight.
Okay.
With your lats.
Okay.
So with your right arm.
Yeah.
So you want to get a little tight instead of just not being loose.
Right. Okay.
That's about it.
Go. Oh wow, that's a lot of force. Oh my God.
So pass play, you're going backwards.
Okay.
On the snap of the ball.
So what would that look like?
So we could go through a pass play. Right
okay.
Here. Yeah.
We'll go. So we're right here.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're on this side, you want your right foot back.
Okay.
Your right hand stance.
Okay.
So you just sit right here.
Okay.
You be going that way.
I'm going this way.
Yep.
Okay.
So with your right foot,
okay,
go back, follow with your left foot.
But you're not picking this up.
You keep it on the ground.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep,
so if we were to do this in real time.
Yep.
Okay. Go. Oh my God. Do you think I would be a good offensive lineman, guys?
I think
if I got some muscle on me. Do you think I could get this dummy?
I think you can.
Okay. Oh, that's pathetic. No muscle.
I saw a little movement.
I'm trying. I had a lot of fun here, guys. Thanks so much for teaching me about how the offensive line works. You guys deserve so much credit.
Well, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. We're going to throw it back to you, Abby.
Switching from one side of the ball to the other, Ohio's defensive line has their own way of contributing to the squad. Watson Taduaki and Cleon Aloisi are both linemen, both with Polynesian backgrounds that share a little bit more than a shared position.
Watson Taduaki and Cleon Aloisi have been together in Athens for several years now, and in that time have become inseparable.
Oh, it's like brothers. We're basically like our backgrounds and stuff. I know I'm Samoan, he's Tongan, but everything is one. As Polynesian, where we come from, it's pretty big.
Well, I think they both have the Polynesian descent, and they both come from one's Tongan, one's Samoan, but they both have that Polynesian background. So they have things on the field, off the field, and then also cultural that bond those two together. They're very talkative, if I can put that loosely. But no, they're really both having their best years this year. So where a lot is expected of them. Both of them are great in the weight room. Both of them give us some power in the middle of the defense.
In Polynesian culture, the ritual of the haka, an ancestral war cry and dance, is performed before a battle as a show of strength. This year, the duo has introduced the team to the tradition.
When you grow up in a cultural family like me, you're surrounded by a lot of things like that. So as little boys, we learned it from the older boys, like learning how to do it. And, you know, they threw us up on the stage and they let us do it too. So being in front of people and doing it, you know, it just gets you excited. So I thought just bringing it to the team would just, you know, bring more excitement there and more energy so we could just come out and fly around.
We do it like every time when we, especially like our big games against like other schools and stuff, like we always do the haka, and it's like something our culture always do too, like part of what traditional kind of. That means like warrior, you know, you gotta be that one warrior to stand up in front of the whole crowd, to lead the crowd.
And if the crowd is pumped, then one can imagine what the players felt when they first learned it.
They're excited because of like the yelling and like the high intense, you know, slapping, and just like the team bonding. You know, when we do our pregame ritual, it's just one. So nobody can't be, you know, late to saying the call or anything. Everybody got to be as one, because when you hear it, it gets you that spirit and energy inside. It's just like it warms you up, and it just makes you play harder, I guess.
We realize football isn't the only team with international backgrounds after our reporter Matt Stevens found a similar trend in Ohio field hockey's roster. He sat down with several members of the squad to see how combining their field hockey backgrounds makes for an ideal game.
The Ohio field hockey team encompasses a very diverse background. The team has players from 7 different states and 4 different countries. OU sophomore Rachel Coe and redshirt sophomore Kennedy Farr see the diversity as an athletic advantage.
I think it's like really good to have just that different like cultural perspective, because even though like you see how the sport kind of varies throughout the states and throughout the countries and like the different playing styles, so we definitely like pick off different things from each other, so it really helps us like kind of diversify our playing.
It's pretty rare. It's pretty awesome. It's funny because everybody brings a little bit of their style from their country, their state to the field, and that's I think why we have like so many like it's a unique team, just because we have so many different styles, and then we all come together and like put those styles onto the field.
Dell Salmons and freshman Alona Hartman have brought stick play from Europe that is truly prevalent of the region.
Different styles for sure come from different countries and different states, especially from Europe, like Adele and Alona. They have their different like skills that like maybe we've never seen before, and it's pretty cool that they just bring that to the field.
For Kennedy Farr, coming across the border was a smooth transition.
It's definitely really hard. Like I'm only across the border, I'm not that far away, so it was an adjustment a little bit just with different things that America has versus Canada, but coming from overseas, that could be hard, and I know like some of us have trouble with that more than others.
Adele Salmons may be 3,861 miles from home in England. However, she sees Athens as her home and credits head coach Neil McMillan for making the transition welcoming.
He was very easy to talk to just because he knew where I was from, and he knew like struggles I may have. From day one I felt like I'd lived here my whole life, so it was easy.
While on Ohio's campus, the student athletes are all from one country, Bobcat country.
With field hockey head coach Neil McMillan comparing her to ice hockey giant Sidney Crosby, Maria Russell must be something to look into. Our field hockey reporter Patrick Klinger did just that. He caught up with the team members to better understand her game earlier this week.
Nearly everyone can remember the first time that they scored a goal. Regardless of the sport, beating the keeper provides a certain rush that is unique to each individual.
The first goal I actually remember would be in high school when I was the little freshman on varsity, and we were playing shaker. I got the ball fed to me on the side. I just hit it in. I just jumped up, did my little celebration.
Sophomore forward Maria Russell has exploded onto the national scene through Ohio's first 12 games, leading the Bobcats with 9 goals. Also leading the team with 19 total points, her playmaking ability has certainly caught the eye of head coach Neil McMillan.
Maria's really playing well right now. What you want from someone up front is the ability to put the ball in the back of the net, and she has that uncanny ability to find those spaces in and around the goal and the goalkeeper.
Russell's small frame, matched with her speed and aggressiveness, give opposing defenses headaches, but she just feels lucky to be on the end of so many scoring plays.
I never go in thinking I'm going to score. It's just, I would think like right place, right time.
If everyone knew about goal scoring, you'd pick people like Pele or Diego Maradona in what I call football, or you'd pick somebody from ice hockey like Sidney Crosby, and you could bottle that up and give it to everybody. But I think some of goal scoring is just an inbuilt ability, and she obviously has that. You have a good eye for the position on the field, a good touch on the ball, and those things often add up to a lot of goals.
After some big performances, like her hat trick at Ball State, Russell has propelled herself as a frontrunner in the MAC Player of the Year race.
I think a lot of those things you look at in regard to the whole team. And I think she'll be one to say that it's a team effort putting the ball in the back of the net. Obviously, if you're the goal scorer, you're the person that gets the name in the paper, but there's so many other people behind that.
That may be a very coach-like thing to say, but Russell agrees that in the end, it's all about coming home with a trophy.
Ohio Athletics seems to be teaming with young talent this year. We already know this is one of the biggest freshman classes in recent years for Ohio's soccer team, but one of the newcomers is already making a name for herself. Reporter Clay Benjamin tells us how the Bobcats are settling into her new role in Athens.
While moving away from home for the first time can be hard on any college freshman, at a harder class load and being a Division I athlete, and it's a lot for an 18-year-old to handle. But Ohio soccer forward Stephanie Rowland has made the most of her first couple months on campus, and she is making a name for herself on the soccer field.
The girls here are awesome, and we all seem to get along good, and the soccer part is going good. I'd like to have a few more wins than we do, but I mean, we're working hard and they're gonna come.
The Pee Wee Valley, Kentucky native, who scored 119 goals during her high school career, is a leading scorer for the Bobcats this season with 5 goals.
Really, Aaron, he recruited me the way like I was, so I just tried to improve my game the way it was, keep going at people, keep working on my speed, and so I didn't really have to change much.
We want to be an attacking team. We want to be a aggressive, dynamic team, and that's what Steph brings to the table. She is a very quick, crafty player, and to have somebody, a young player, a freshman, come in and be able to help lead the line is very important to us because it sets the tone for us. It really creates more depth and strength in this foundation that we're creating.
Off the field, Rowland and the rest of this big freshman class have been relying on the advice of the upperclassmen to adapt to college life.
The seniors and upperclassmen on our team are amazing. They are always encouraging us to do, not just me, everyone, just to do our best and on and off the field. If you have any questions with school, soccer, anything, they're always there to help with everything.
But for Coach Rogers, given the amount of underclassmen on the roster this season, he is very happy with how all the freshmen have handled their first couple months on campus.
I think they've done really well. I mean, for us to kind of rely on, we have more underclassmen than we do upperclassmen. With some inexperience, you're going to get some up and down results.
It's like looking into the future with this next piece. With the playing time and success, Russell and Rowland seem to be on the fast track to records, just like senior volleyball players Meredith Ashe and Abby Gilliland. This pair is on the brink of setting records, and reporter Marissa Salopek sat down with the standout athletes before their names hit the books.
Competing for a reigning conference championship team requires leaders that bring up the team's A game every time on the court. For the Ohio Bobcats volleyball team, these leaders come in the form of senior setter Abby Gilliland and senior libero Meredith Ashe. These two standout players are both close to breaking records of their own. Gilliland looking to become the first 3-time Mid-American Conference Player of the Year in the league's history. Ashe with close sights on the all-time school record for digs.
At the very beginning, I kind of knew I had a chance at breaking the record, and it's so surreal, and it's such an honor to be able to be a libero starter for 4 years, because not many people can say they were a libero starter for 4 years. It's just something I take very seriously, and it's just an honor.
Ashe has already been recognized as the MAC East Defensive Player of the Week 7 times throughout her career, 3 times this season alone, even awarded twice in consecutive weeks.
Wants to dig every ball, period. It doesn't matter if she's 1,000 digs away from a record or 100 digs away from a record, she wants to dig every ball. And that mindset is what has put her in position to achieve this great record.
Gilliland this season also swept the Mid-American Conference East Division Weekly Awards, recognized both as Offensive Player of the Week for the 4th time in her career and the Defensive Player of the Week for her first time. Gilliland says the recognition has been a humbling honor, but seeing what she does in impacting team success is the most rewarding.
I know the competition and I know the players in the MAC. I know a lot of them on a personal level. I've played against them for 4 years, so to hear them put me at the top of that list is very humbling, and I'm very honored and very grateful for the fact that I've been put in an opportunity with people working hard to help me get better.
Aside from their personal success on the court, the girls in their leadership roles both push their teammates to be better.
They're first team all conference for a reason. And so I think both of those kids, what they provide to us, it's just real life teaching in a way that's better than what the coaches can provide.
As teammates and roommates, Gilliland says the relationship on and off the court has only benefited them personally and for the team.
I have a title of being a team captain, but there's a lot of things that get bounced around with Mare. And just kind of seeing her grow up in that way too over the past 4 years has been awesome. But you know, those are, when you pick a program and a coach and all of that, you pick people that you want in your life forever. And she's one of those people.
As Marissa mentioned, Ashley and Gilliland are a big part of the Bobcats' success, contributing to one of the best defenses in the country. We wanted to see what goes into making this squad rock solid, and reporter Josh Gregory was able to break it down with us along with members of the team.
Success in volleyball starts with a strong defense.
It's something that we stress every day. We want to be a great defensive team. I think it's a really rare day that we don't talk about it. It starts with our serving, it then goes to our blocking, and then goes to our back row defense.
With a strong MAC record, the Ohio University volleyball team has shown that good defense leads to good offense.
We run something called a BIC, which is a really quick set in the back row. And if it's set correctly, blockers on the other side have a hard time getting to it because it's so fast. So it is like an insistent hit. So if our pass is pass perfectly through the net to Abby, there's technically 4 hitters.
So normally the Bobcats defense looks something like this. It'll start with a serve. The better the serve, the harder it is for the team to get a good return. If the ball is returned, it's up to the front row to act as blockers to stop the ball. If the ball is still in play after passing the front row, it's up to the libero and back row to get the dig. The better the dig, the better the chance of the ball getting to Gilliland, the setter. Once the ball gets to Gilliland, she'll pass it off to either of her outside hitters. Finally, the hitters will attempt to get the point.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it comes down to how much we're in system. So the better pass or better dig that we can put up at the net and kind of get all 3 hitters involved, keep the opposing defense kind of on their toes about where we're going offensively is a huge advantage for us.
One player sets the tone for the Bobcats defense.
I mean, you put Meredith on our back line in defense and she's on the court flying around all the time, and that's one of our biggest strengths.
She's really just incredible. And Dean always talks about, being better at this, but he always says that there's nobody on our team that's better at what they do than Mare.
Floor defense has been exceptional this year, and that's Mare back there in zone 5. Obviously captains our defense, does a great job.
Last year, Meredith Ashe was the first Bobcat ever to be named MAC Defensive Player of the Year. As the libero, she is the transition point from defense to offense.
But if it goes past the block, I think the blockers, really trust me to get the ball up, and so I want to do that for them so they can, transition and get a kill off that dig.
And that's when the Bobcats' powerful defense becomes their biggest offensive weapon.
While other athletes are mid-season, some are gearing up for their upcoming competition. Ohio baseball and softball have been hosting schools from all over for their fall ball season scrimmages, along with regular practices. Reporter Duncan Goldberg sat down with both teams to understand their not-so-off seasons.
For regular season baseball and softball, teams are trying to win championships and set records. With fall ball, this time is used for the players to come together and find out how to become a winning team.
But a big part of the fall is
is to develop that team chemistry and you know, for us as coaches to also work through and ultimately see who our lineup's going to be and who we can rely on to go out and compete for us in the spring.
Right now it's just time to mold together. We try to find out what guys are good at, what guys need to work on, and we just play their strengths, but we also work on their weaknesses. And together as a team really helps to keep team chemistry, especially.
Who works best where, who works good like hitting behind certain people, and it's giving everybody a chance to show their talent.
For fall ball games, more players are used, and they are put in different scenarios in order to prepare themselves for the season. In a regular game, you're only going to use 9 to 12 players in a given day, usually. And in a fall scrimmage, everybody's involved. You know, you need 18 position players and multiple pitchers. So that's a big difference that you'll see. And within the scrimmage world too, you can create different situations and stop play. Fall practice is extremely important. It helps a team improve on the little things that will help them get wins in the regular season. You spend a lot of time on your team defense, trying to make sure everybody's aware and understands where they need to be on the field during certain situations. You know, you spend a lot of time on guys' individual games.
Fall practice, especially at the beginning, it's a lot of learning how we do things here, like hitting wise, defensively wise.
In the practice, everything's more structured. You know, you're working on more specifics. You know, it's obviously not as fun. You know, everybody would rather just suit up and play games, but in practice where you got to get most of your fundamentals, man. It's just where you got to drill down and get all your work done.
After a great season last year, the baseball team will look to repeat as MAC tournament champions this spring. For softball, there should be big improvements from last year, as Savannah Jo Dorsey, one of the best pitchers in the country, will be returning from an injury that kept her off the mound last season.
And just like that, we're all out of time, Bobcat fans, but don't worry, we'll be back on your TVs very soon. In the meantime, follow along with all Ohio athletics news on Facebook by liking our page or giving us a follow on Twitter at Bobcat Showcase. For the rest of the Showcase crew, I'm Abby Carnevale, and we'll see you again on November 13th at 11 p.m. on WOUB right here. Until then, don't forget to fight for the green and white.